Alright, hello, this is Dr. James, and here's the first launch of United States soil in 11 years, so we're told. And how exciting. Of course, I'm going to show you some stuff that's going to be very disturbing to your belief system if you've been believing all the lies that NASA has been telling you. I didn't want to believe it at first. But after looking at the evidence, it just becomes completely obvious. It becomes so disturbing that they're lying about everything. And so the question is first of all, why are they lying? Why is NASA lying? Let's look at this for a little bit longer. So we have the rocket going up, and actually, I can't get this information anymore because after they broadcast it live, you can't get it. So luckily, I recorded it. So let's go up here, and this is 22.41 seconds into the launch, 2 minutes 41 seconds, and we have the separation of the Dragon capsule from the so-called Falcon rocket, which I guess starts heading back to Earth. And let's skip ahead a little bit. And I wanted to talk about these things. I'll talk about those later. These are the grid fins. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen because, if you're going super fast, these things are not aerodynamic at all. They would just break off, so they'd be completely useless at high speeds. And this rocket supposedly does something super amazing. It's 230 feet tall, and it weighs 1.2 million pounds, and it somehow comes out of space, lands like a pencil straight up onto a floating barge that's bobbing out in the middle of the ocean, controlled by a robot, and it just lands there, and it lands in 10 seconds, and there's not a single video footage of that. Here, let's skip ahead to this. Anyway, so these grid fins would be completely useless during that landing also, because they would have no aerodynamic effect during hovering, right? So what's the point of these? They would break off at high speed, and at hovering they're completely useless. I don't see these things. It's just completely ridiculous here. Okay, here's our burn. That looks real. Anyway. But this is what I really want to show you. This is a disturbing point right here, and it's at, I believe, 9. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so we got the people with pushing their COVID propaganda here. 9 minutes. 9 minutes. Okay, so here is our ship bobbing around the middle of the ocean, and this 1.2 million pound rocket ship's going to cover and come in, but we don't have any. They couldn't turn the cameras up to look at that. Oh, we lost footage for some reason. Oh, and 10 seconds. Here we go. Wait for it. Wait for it. 10 seconds later. 10 seconds later, they landed this thing. It's 270 meters tall, right? 230 feet tall, 1.2 million pounds, and this thing stands. It's got to be, I don't think they could land a helicopter that fast. It's got to come in, and they got to do all these adjustments. And this thing's super tall, super heavy, got a huge amount of inertia, and somehow they managed to land this thing so it's pointing straight up. And in 10 seconds, the only thing that I would want to see out of this whole launch is this ridiculous thing coming down, this huge monstrous thing, if you can imagine that, coming down out of the sky, and they can't ever get any video footage of that. Isn't that amazing? And they land it in 10 seconds. It's coming in. Oh, okay, let's do the calculations. I actually did the calculations, and here, if we do the separation time, which is at 2.4 2 minutes 41 seconds, and the camera's cut out, so that's when it's landing. So it traveled that full distance by 9 minutes 21 seconds, and it landed in 10 seconds. Landed in 10 seconds, if we calculate the distance that it traveled, which was 82 kilometers is when it separated, and so that's 50.9 miles. And if you figure out the seconds between when the camera cut out, which is when it's there supposedly hovering, because supposedly the rocket engines make the camera cut out, that's 400 seconds that it traveled down, 50 miles, so that is 6.66 minutes, which is kind of interesting if you follow some of these other truth channels where they talk about Satanism and how our leaders are run by Satanists. We get the 666 there, and it's 0.111 hours, so that's 454, almost 460 miles per hour. So this 1.2 million pound rocket ship is coming down at 500 miles an hour, almost 450 miles an hour, standing straight up with these little grid fins controlling it, and somehow lands on a bobbing ship in the ocean in 10 seconds. And they have no video footage of that. How is that possible? I want to see that. I want to see that video footage. They're spending millions and millions of dollars to launch this rocket, and they can't have a camera that works. They have one camera on the ship. They can't afford more than one camera, I guess. The most amazing thing I could possibly think of, a rocket ship coming, how do they get that much fuel to power? Can you, I didn't do the calculations. Maybe I should do the calculations to see how much energy it would require to hold up. Yeah, I should probably do the calculations to see how much energy it would actually take to prevent a rocket free falling from outer space, to keep it at less than 500 miles an hour, and then bring it down to a helicopter type landing, and stabilizing the whole thing, landing it on a bobbing barge in the middle of the ocean. I can't even believe this. I can't believe anyone believes this. But you know, my eyes were opened. Actually, one of the first people that opened my eyes was Russian Vids. Great guy. He does really great research, and his research is so great. I would give you links to his videos, because I love his videos. But unfortunately, YouTube doesn't like him so much, because anyone who tells the truth gets their channel deleted. And so Russian Vids channels, he does have some new alt channels, and I'll put links to that. And so we have Russian Vids with on Rose 777 watching the launch, and they had an interesting thing I wanted to show you, where some footage of Astronaut Zip Lining.
You know, again, the biggest problem they had was when they tried to do live broadcasts. When you try to do anything live, which is why we don't do it in television, which is why we don't do it in movies, you know, anything in real time in entertainment, it's because you have problems. There's your hair straight up. Doesn't make sense. It should be flowing everywhere. But of course, the bigger question isn't even the fact she's got it permed. Why do you have hair at all in a zero-G environment? All have shaved heads. You shouldn't even have eyebrows because it clogs the fuel systems. Yeah. I've looked up military submarine countries that have military submarines that say they won't even allow beards because they're
Mark, again, you don't understand astrophysics in space. Hair does not break off in space.
Right.
You don't shed any hair in space.
Right. That's pretty good. Little glitches here and there, fingers not lining up. The hairspray was one of the first things that got me back in the day, because it's so easy for people to understand. It's like, look, that's not what hair looks like.
What always got me is, you know, just their body posture, like, you know, their pants, their shirts, you know, it's like you can tell they're connected, you know, like green screen, of course, with, you know, harnesses and all that. And here's something I showed before too, with Scott Kelly in the other astronaut, I forgot his name, the cosmonaut. Actually, you could see their faces. They're like swollen. They're red. It's like you could tell they're being hung up upside down. they're using multiple tricks. It's not just one trick they're using at certain points, or they're hung upside down. Certain, they're using harnesses with certain footage. They're using CGI. They're just integrating all these different techniques to try to foil us. So we don't just say, oh, it's just one technique they're using. They're using multiple.
Right. Do you guys remember the one, I don't know if it was shown in this video or a different one, where the 3 astronauts all glitched out, but the whole background, like if David glitched out, but his background was perfectly normal, but they completely just swirled out, like there was a special effects layer. Do you guys remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was brilliant. I was like, why is that even there? Now with David, it's a perfect excuse because he's on a completely different space station. But with these guys, it's like, well, why would you glitch? How's it even possible? The famous one where they're pulling the wire on the guy.
At this point, people believing in the space station, it's just willful ignorance. Yeah. It's just willful ignorance. So people just want to believe that it's real. They don't have the ability, as James True says, that they clip that information is beyond their ability to see.
The thing is this, I look at it this way. Once someone's committed to believing in something, and they're they have all their NASA shirts and they're just like complete fanboys. They can't go from, I'm going to throw all my NASA stuff away and I'm going to go to the other side. They're already committed to that, and their egos can't prevent them from going from, I was fooled, I was deceived. I told everybody I know how great NASA is, and now they can't go on the exact opposite spectrum. So that's another huge thing. Here's the thing is, the people that are not really invested into the lies, they're more likely to look at things like such as flat Earth. But go ahead.
I remember when this clip came out and everybody was focusing on the hat, and I'm like, what about the guy in the background floating through, zip lining in the background? I'm like, and I zoomed in. This is my clip actually.
And last but not least, I think this is my favorite part of the whole space flight, the proof that they're actually in anti-gravity. They have a dinosaur balloon thing here. And you can tell it's a balloon because it doesn't have very much inertia, the way they're kicking it around with their fingers and stuff. Look at this garbage, right? It's not a stuffed animal. It is a freaking balloon on a string. Unbelievable. More NASA fakery. Because they're doing all sorts of tricks here to fool you. Because I'm gonna just show you this footage, and then we'll talk about why NASA's doing this. And I have my own opinions. A lot of these people believe in flat Earth, which I have a different opinion on the whole thing. And other than that, I agree with pretty much everything they're saying. So we have astronaut zip lining. We have astronauts dropping things in space, and Russian Vids, like I said, had a lot of great videos on this. He had
take a close.
So you can fix it around cables, and so you need all these things to keep your stuff in place, because otherwise you lose it. It just floats away and it doesn't fall down.
He drops it. Again, take a closer. I'm going to get a little bit of a close-up. Oh, he dropped it. Supposedly in outer space. Give me a complete break. Another close-up. And I wonder what the people that believe in space travel are going to say about this.
Systemen. Hier achter deze panelen wordt de urine opgevangen.
Now take a look. And you heard it drop. You heard that screw drop, and he looks down. Okay, let's play that again. He's looking for, he's searching for it. There you go.
One that I really liked about, I think it had Don hosting, and in the background, and he had footage from the moon landing and all these other things with bubbles coming up, because the things were all faked. All this NASA footage was all faked, and it was done in the bottom of a pool. Well, let me show you. Okay, so I started looking around trying to find some other videos, because all of his videos were deleted, and so I found one that said exposed, but it was actually a real NASA trip. This was a real NASA moonwalk from the ESA website, Is that what it was called? ESA? I believe that's what it is. Anyway, doesn't make a difference. It was official NASA footage from the YouTube uploaded by them. And I started looking at it. I was thinking, oh, this is one where people are pointing out bubbles. But no, it wasn't. But actually watching the footage, I found my own bubbles. How amazing, right? Because all you have to do is load up some NASA footage and start looking, and you will find bubbles. Because these space stations, they have a pool with this International Space Station, and it's at the bottom of the pool, and they put on their astronaut suits and go down there, and they say that they're just practicing for the spacewalks in the pool, but they're also filming the spacewalks in the pool. I hate to tell you. Okay, and here's some more great stuff by Matthew North. He's made some really great videos, and this is of the Challenger explosion, and this is where they had sent the teacher up into space and all those other astronauts. I think there's like about 9 of them, and they found about 7 of them still alive. How is that? That's pretty amazing. The Challenger went up in the air, it blew up, everybody watched it blow up. It just tiny little parts all over the ocean. Feynman was, you know, investigating this forever, or smartest genius physicist, whatever. And now they're back alive. How amazing! And what, I think like 4 of them have the same names. Do they just assume different careers? They look the same. They have the same voices, the same the way they talk. It's completely amazing. Take a look at that.
If you are 40 years or older, you may remember January 28, 1986. It was the day of a huge NASA catastrophe off the coast of Cape Canaveral, Florida, where at 11:38 a.m. EST, 73 seconds after takeoff, Space Shuttle Challenger exploded in a tremendous burst over the Atlantic. All 7 crew members were killed, 5 NASA astronauts and the 2 payload specialists.
And now, the unbelievable. A well-known proverb says, if something looks like a duck, sounds like a duck, and behaves like a duck, then it probably is a duck. For a second time, this matter leaves the world breathless. Though this latest shock even surpasses the one 30 years ago. At least 6 of the 7 Challenger crew members are supposed to be alive still. 4 of them even with the same name. Here is the evidence to review.
For all you fanboys out there who love the idea of rockets and NASA, but I'm going to tell you, you know, they have a budget of, what is it, $20 billion a year, and you got to wonder, it doesn't cost them that much to film this fakery. So what are they doing with this money? And or why is NASA faking all this stuff? And I'm going to talk about my opinions as to why. Of course, there's the flat earthers out there, and they think that the earth is flat, and they're trying to hide that. And I can't tell you for sure whether the earth is flat or not until I build my own rocket ship and go up. But I believe, based on my own personal research, is that the reason why they're doing this stuff is of course they want to keep the masses under control, like this whole thing with the COVID, and they're always dividing people by race and religion and everything else, and getting them to fight amongst each other because they want to keep the people in conflict and in ignorance. Well, they just kind of do things behind the scenes. So they're funneling all this money off, I believe, into a secret space program, because I believe that they have been working on, for instance, anti-gravity technology. There's lots of evidence in my personal research. I've been working on anti-gravity type things, and maybe things like stargates, or using, and the reason, part of the reason why they don't want to talk about this stuff is because it's related to their mind control programs. It's how they keep the masses under mind control, and their research in paranormal and psychic type things. But they kind of give you hints in Hollywood movies, and I believe it. You know, if you read the book Montauk Project, where they talk about, or the Philadelphia Experiment, these types of things, these are all related. This energy field is a psychic field, and machines can be built to harness it. And you can get your anti-gravity crafts, which people have been seeing, which my research has been proving out that anti-gravity is real. And I believe, you know, why would you use rockets? Rockets are a terrible way to fly. You need a huge amount of fuel. You need a giant rocket ship just to put something tiny into orbit. If you could fly up there with anti-gravity, with you know, just nullify gravity, you wouldn't need a huge rocket ship. You could just levitate the payload up there. Or even better, if you had stargates or wormholes, which they talk about in other movies, which I believe and Al Bialik talked about, the people in the Montauk Project, where they talk about that type of stuff in that book. If you've ever read that, it's a very interesting book. I'm not sure if I believe everything in it, but or agree with everything, but I think that there is definitely hints of truth there. And I believe that they probably have a secret space program, which they're funneling this money into, and NASA is nothing more than a front, a propaganda thing, a disinformation campaign to keep everyone happy with sending all their money to this big black hole and getting really nothing out of it except for a bunch of fake videos. So that's my take on the whole thing. And I wish I had you know, $1 million lab so I could develop this stuff, but I don't. And I don't know if you watch my other videos. I am working on developing this new form of energy, this new force field, this anti-gravity type field that is generated and related to the life energy of humans. And I believe this is the new science. This is going to make a, if it was developed properly, would definitely revolutionize and change society for the better. But unfortunately, it's in the control of a few nefarious leaders who use it for their own purposes, to put down the masses and deceive them, and create these fake pandemic things to terrorize people with, because our leaders are the real terrorists. And we'll see. I'll just keep on looking for the truth and keep on with my research here. And you know, the paranormal has been always taboo. They've been suppressing that because our leaders use paranormal to to control the masses. They're very evil people. And anyway, from FakeX, NASA lies, to anti-gravity and stargates, I think that's where this whole situation is going, and I believe that's probably where the money is being funneled, into this secret space program, anti-gravity research, and alternative energy, and Stargate type technology. Anyway, this is Dr. Janes, and thanks for watching.